Hi guys, thank you for tuning in. This is Ronwane Chanje, and welcome to Heart to Heart with Newa. And today's video is on a story time. So, as part of my pregnancy series, I felt it a necessity to tell this testimony because it wouldn't be a pregnancy story without me mentioning this. It's just a story about how God saved my baby. And before I go into that story, I just want to extend my gratitude to everyone who is tuned into this channel, everyone that keeps on coming back, all everyone who's here for the first time also. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. And without any further ado, I will be starting with today's story time. All right, so this dates back to the 27th of January this year. At that time, I was 24 weeks pregnant, so that's about 5 months of me being pregnant. So on that day, it was month end, yeah, so the 27th, and we wanted to go and do groceries with my baby. So baby and I agreed that we're going to meet at one of the shopping complexes in Midrand, around here in Midrand, where we stay. So on my way from work, I was supposed to come and pick up the kids. So we had our niece, nephew, and my brother-in-law here to visiting. So I was supposed to come and pick up the kids and then meet him by the shops. So something told me when I was driving back that, you know what, don't go and pick up the kids, because I was just like, no, they will rush us. Yeah, sorry, they will slow us down when we're doing the groceries, and I was tired, so I just wanted to get home and rest. Fine. So when I was about a kilometer or two away from the house, I turned back and then I went to the shops. Now get this shopping complex is not a complex that we usually go to, but for some reason, my babe was like, we should go there, like we should try out other places, because we had recently moved to Joburg about 3 or 4 months before. So we're still trying to get accustomed to the place also. So fine, I go to where he said we should meet, and then we parked. I can't even say parallel to each other, but we were in the same row. Can I call that? Yeah, we were there next to each other. So he arrived first and then I got there later. So then I got out of my car and then I went to the back and I took my stuff. So because I was coming back from work, I had a huge black bag from work that carries medical equipment. So I took my stuff out, so my phone and my wallet, and then I closed the car. I didn't take up the whole my bag. And then I went into the shops. I'm pretty sure that I confirmed that my car was locked. And then I went to the shops. So that was around 5. We went in, we shopped, and then we got out. So when we got out, we decided that we're going to offload all the groceries into my person's car. So we offloaded, and then he's like, you know what, girl, you'll find me you'll find me at home. And then I was like, fine. Usually when we meet at the shops, we would do a convoy to home together. But that day he was like, you'll find me at home. I'll be unpacking the groceries. And I agreed because I didn't want to be rushed. Um, so when we were offloading the groceries, I was holding my car keys. The next thing I turned around. Then when I turned around, I noticed that my car was on, like the lights were on. And that usually happens when the door is not closed properly or if it has just been unlocked. So fine, I walked to my car because I noticed when we were done offloading the groceries, I walked to the car, and as much as I found it weird, I was like, oh wow. And then I got inside the car, and then I took my phone, and then I was preparing my playlist for my ride home. And then someone came to my window and knocked. So when they knocked, I looked over. Obviously, I got scared because I'm not expecting anyone in Midrand to be knocking on my window. Like, who do I know here? And then I opened the window because I didn't want to be rude as much as I was scared. And so this guy was dressed in that blue vest, you know, the Mr. Delivery Take a Lot vest. So that guy was dressed in that. So I'm assuming that he was a delivery guy for Mr. D and Take a Lot. So he was like, hi. I'm like, hi. He's like, I just wanted to alert you that there's someone that stole something from your car, and please go to the back and confirm this because there's a guy that took a black bag from your car. And then I was like, probably this guy noticed that there was a black bag from my car, and what if I get out and he then takes my car keys and then runs off with the car? What will I do? So the first instinct I had was to call babe. So I called him and I told him what this guy was telling me. So okay, there's a guy that's telling me that I must go to the back of my car, and he was like, Renoa, please be safe. Don't just get out, like don't do it. I'm coming back. I was like, okay, fine. But then the guy was like, girl, these guys are still here, and I see them pulling away from the driveway, and they seem to be leaving. So I want to show you the car before I leave, but please keep me anonymous. You know, something in me just felt like I should trust this guy. As much as my husband was like, no, I had to discern where that guy is coming from. So I was like, okay, there are people around. Let me get out, hold on to my car keys and my phone in case something happens. I got out the car, and then I went to the back of the car. I opened and I noticed that indeed that black bag was gone. And I went crazy because that is not my belonging. It's something that belonged to the company at work. And I started freaking out, and I made sure that the car was locked. I stayed on the phone call with babe, and I was now walking over to get help because those guys were now pulling away. They were about to exit the complex. So I saw their car. It was a Hyundai Texan, and I saw the plate number of the people that stole the bag, according to what the guy had said. And then I walked over. You know those people that help guard our cars and help us park our cars. I went to them. I think they're like parking marshals or something like that. I went over to them and then I asked them if they could please assist me with security as soon as possible. There are certain guys that stole something from my car and I need help urgently. And then those guys, they were not understanding what I was saying because I was I was very panicky, and I was speaking in such a rush, and they didn't really understand what I was trying to explain to them. So the guys that stole my the bag were now driving past us, and I was almost next to the exit. So I was like, no, those guys, they stole something from my bag. So the mistake I did is I pointed at those guys, and then there was no way we could stop the car at that moment because they were driving off. So there was nothing they could do, but then they alerted security. But then the guys had already noticed that I pointed at them, and that I noticed that there's something wrong that they did. And at that moment, me and the driver of that car looked at each other straight in the eyes. And guys, when I looked him straight in the eyes, such a handsome guy, he handsome guy, fair skin, dressed smart. The car was very new. The guy then turned the steering wheel from the direction that he was in, and the moment he was turning the steering wheel, I knew that he was headed for me. Guys, I have never ran like I did on that day. I turned around and I ran because I knew that guy was aiming for me. And when I was running, I was just looking for a shop to get into, or at least to be in between cars or something like that, where the guy will not be able to hit me. But I fell, and I fell. Luckily, I fell on my side. Actually, I can't even explain it. I fell on my side, and so I fell on my hand and my knee, and then somehow I slept flat on the ground. And then when I was sleeping flat on the ground, I just felt the car running over me, like the wheel of the car running over the side, my left side. So he ran over my ankle, my back, and my shoulder. And at that moment, guys, I had said my prayers. Like, I was like, this car is running over me. It's most probably going to just squash me flat. So when he had ran over me, he ran over me by like the front wheel, and then the back wheel ran over my ankle. I then was so surprised. I just woke up and I sat. When I sat, I was just screaming, my baby, my baby, my baby, because guys, the baby was on the left side, and I just felt the baby move so quickly to the right side after everything happened. But from that moment onwards, the baby stopped moving. Like, I couldn't feel the baby anymore. And I was just screaming, my baby, my baby, my baby. And remember, my person is still on the line when all of this is happening. So I'm just screaming, my baby. He doesn't know what happened. And he's just hearing me scream, my baby. So after the accident happened, he met the guys on his way out. Oh, sorry, on their way out, and he was coming in. He then made a U-turn and he followed those guys because he wanted to retrieve my bag. Now, the 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 police had been notified of this crime in that short period of time, and I'm sitting there. I look at my side, and I'm perforated on the side. I am bleeding. So where the baby was, I was now starting to bleed. I didn't want to look, but all I could see was blood on my shirt. So I then just held my side to stop the bleeding. So I just held it tight like that. so that it stops bleeding. And then I don't know, but somehow I could stand up, and I went to sit somewhere. Then I started calling my person, because he hung up, and then he chased them. So when I called him, I was like, please leave them, I'm hurt. And by that time he had been chasing them, and they were so far. I was like, I'm hurt, they ran over me. Yo guys, he was so scared. I could hear through the phone that he didn't know what to do. So he then turned and came back to me. You know, now people were now starting to crowd over me. They were now starting to call the ambulance and all that. And people were just there. Some were feeling pity for me. Like, I just remember hearing this guy. He sounded foreign. His accent was like that of a Nigerian guy. He was just like, no, it's a pregnant lady, please come, she needs your help. And then the next thing, my person was there, and my brother was there, our pastor was there, and I couldn't feel that I was hurt at that moment until the ambulance came, and they're like, I should stand up and get on the bed. So I was so hurt, I couldn't walk. I couldn't stand up because they ran over my back. So my whole back was just painful. My leg was just painful. But I didn't feel like I was crushed, like the bones were broken or anything like that. I didn't feel broken. I was just in so much pain. So they took out their first aid kit, they cleaned my wounds, and then they closed it, and then they took me to the hospital. I got there. The first thing we wanted to know, and remember, this is COVID times, we need to take COVID tests. No one can come through with me. And then we went to casualty. We got there, they called a gynae, they called casualty officers there, I mean emergency doctors there, and then everyone was just attending to me. They scanned, they were looking for the baby, and luckily the baby's heartbeat was still there, thank God. But now there was another major concern. They were telling me that my placenta seems to be torn, and they're not sure if I'm bleeding internally or not. So the doctor was thinking that I have what we call a abruptio placenta, or placenta abruptio. I think I'm having baby brain, but yeah, that my placenta is torn. And then they just told me that they're going to monitor the tear. So they measured it, and they said if it increases, then it would mean that I'm bleeding internally. Guys, I was so scared, but at the same time I was so chilled. I was just like part, like the natural thing is to be scared when something like that is being said, but also I was just like, God, if I'm bleeding internally, there's nothing I can do at that moment. Our baby is not old enough yet to be delivered, and now they were speaking about delivery, and the doctor low-key told me, Uri, they might have to deliver the baby, but there's nothing they can do to save the baby. And at that moment I was just like, God, your will be done, because if you didn't want me to have this baby, if you want me to have this baby, I will have the baby. But if you don't want me to have the baby, then it's okay. There's a lesson that you probably want me to learn through this. And I could hear that my person is not fine on the other side, because mind you, he almost lost his wife, and now his baby's life is in danger. I did not pray, to be honest. I don't know if he prayed, but I just let everything roll out. Like I just trusted God with whatever is going to happen. They kept me for the night. They staged me where I needed to be staged. And then I went to the gynae ward for observation. The next morning, I woke up. I went to the gynae's office. At this moment, I can't even walk. And I'm being pushed on a wheelchair. I went there. She measured and she said, the thing seems to be increasing. I was just like, okay, is the baby fine? She's like, the baby's still okay. Have you felt the baby move? I'm like, barely, but I think he's there. And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna write you a referral to your doctor because I asked to be discharged early. There was nothing that I was really staying for there. So I asked them to discharge me early so that I can go home and be at the comfort of my house as I heal. And then we did. I went home and I went to my gynae 3 days after to find out if the baby is okay. My gynae told me that the baby is fine, and that the tear is something, guys, I don't know, but the tear is something that is normal, like it's a structure of some people's placentas, like they're just structured like that. They look like they're tearing, but it's not a tear. And obviously I was grateful to God for that, my baby was fine. And I'm saying this, I'm telling this story just to show the goodness of the Lord and how He's intentional with everything that He does. And the Bible says that all things happen for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to His will and His purpose. I had accepted at that moment that if my baby is normal, it is God's will. I know it's easier said than done, to trust God and to accept His will upon your life. But I had told myself that, you know what, God, if this is you, then let it be. Let it happen that way. But God saved my baby, and that was also for a purpose. That was to show me that He wanted this baby to be here. There was so much drama around me being pregnant, and it's not drama that was being caused by people, but it was internal conflict. It was internal drama because if you remember in one of my pregnancy series videos, I mentioned how I was scared when I was pregnant because I didn't know what people would say or how people would react about it. Mind you, I had only been married traditionally, and I had not vowed before abazalwane and God that this is the man that I wanted to get married to. And then now we are pregnant, and there was so much controversy around the whole thing. And I felt embarrassed in a way, like I won't lie, I felt embarrassed or I was pregnant and I haven't worn my white gown as of yet. I haven't walked down the aisle. So I felt like God was trying to communicate with me, or if He wants something to happen, He will let it happen, and that I do not need to doubt. You see, from that moment onwards, I celebrated my pregnancy with pride. My child is an anointing, my child is a blessing, my child is purpose. He wanted my baby to be there. And I know that there may be someone. I'm not trying to condone people being pregnant before marriage or sex before marriage or anything like that, because it's wrong. It's wrong and it shouldn't be done. But I want to show you how God shows His greatness through the smallest things or through things that we may think are not godly, or things that are not godly, not even we may think, but things that we know are not godly, God shows up right there and he proves himself. He wants us to still praise him and to not condemn ourselves, you know. So through that experience, I felt, all right, I should share that God saved my baby, guys. God saved my life despite everything, and this is my testimony. And I am glad to be speaking this from a point of a testimony, and not someone explaining a bad story. Like, it could have, I could have died, or my baby could have died, but I'm glad I'm saying this as a testimony, as a source of hope, you know. Yeah. And for those of you that are not sensitive to stuff, I'm gonna leave just a timeline or some pictures to show my healing process. Unfortunately, I didn't take videos, so I can't show you guys how I healed from the moment I couldn't walk throughout. I mean, it was just 2 weeks, but it was hard to, like, coming from a point where you do everything by yourself, and now you need someone to help you up so that you go to the bathroom was a lot, and just getting up only was painful. So I'm gonna leave that, like, just to show like my wound, like how the perforation was until now, how it looks like. And guys, this scar is my testimony. The scar that I'm going to show you is my testimony that God showed up for me. I gave birth to a healthy baby boy. He has nothing to show that there was this accident that happened to me. He is developing well. He is a smart baby. He is a strong baby. He is so healthy, and all glory belongs to God. And with that said, I just want to come to the end of this video, guys. I had shot this video and it was 15 minutes long, and now it seems to be like 30 minutes long. But anyway, I really hope that my story will be uplifting to someone and encouraging to someone, that, you know what, God shows up where you don't expect him to show up. And thank you so much. If you watched until the end of the video, may you please subscribe, like, comment, share, and comment, man, on where God showed up for you. Where did God show up for you? Share your testimony with us on the comment section below. And